Welcome to the Malvern College Scholarship Information Webinar. My name is Anna Louise McQuilkin and I'm the Head of Admissions at Malvern College. We're delighted that you could join us this evening to find out more about the 13 plus and 16 plus scholarships offered at Malvern. And this evening we are joined by the Headmaster, Mr. Keith Metcalf, and also the Deputy Head Curriculum, Mr. Stephen Holroyd. In a few minutes, we will have a welcome from the headmaster, but I just wanted to take a couple of moments just to explain what's going to happen this evening and also how you can ask any questions that you might have. In the background today, we're helped by Mr. George Stringer, our digital marketing manager, who's helping us with all the technical side of things and will also help deliver your questions to us. If you have any questions at all, please do submit these using the Q&A function on Zoom. So that's represented by a double speech bubble, and we will try to get through as many questions as possible. Mr. Metcalf will give us a welcome, and Mr. Holroyd will explain more about the scholarships at Malvern, the expectations of scholars and the probing that we run for them here. And I will also give you some information about the application process itself and the timeline surrounding those. But now I'd like to hand over to Mr. Metcalf to welcome us to this evening's event.
Well, thank you, Anna Louise, and it's great to welcome you. And being awarded a scholarship to any great school, I suppose, is an honour. And many of our most successful OMs over the years have been scholars too. So before I hand over to the rest of the team, I've got a chance just to explain a little bit about why we offer scholarships academically, but also in other areas of college life too. And hopefully through that, I can explain a little about of Malvern, what it's all about, and how scholarships fit in. So our underlying belief is that by instilling and nurturing emotional and cultural intelligence, that we can learn not just through the core academic curriculum, but through the intellectual super curriculum, the wider co-curriculum, and the hundreds of social and pastoral interactions that each pupil has in a day, that we can and we will support then the drive for academic excellence, because they're all interlinked. Becoming a scholar means having the desire or the appetite to be continually learning, to be challenging your own thinking, pushing your boundaries, being curious, passionate, driven to develop intellectually or in whichever skill set that you have focused on. So we're in the business of trying to help shape modern leaders who are ready or becoming ready to transform themselves, but also their or our future world. And leadership is a lot about setting the example. People notice what you do much more than just what you say. But modern leadership is also about how you make people feel, how you can serve others, and facilitating even greater outcomes through that. So we're keen that scholars, whoever they are, recognize that they are a key part of the college, because they're going to bring people with them. They're going to inspire others. They're going to drive the whole group forward. And so we want leaders, scholars in each area of college life, so that we each bring out the best in each other. So the scholarship process is therefore all about identifying those with great potential, nurturing and supporting them in their specific pursuits, but then also expecting them to have a positive influence by transforming themselves, but also others around them. And this, I think, well, you'd all agree, doesn't just happen. Each of you who's maybe looking at applying for a scholarship will have worked hard just to even get to this point, where a scholarship has become a realistic target, and you'll have had to work hard to achieve an award if you get one, and then a lot will be expected of you once you're here. It's a challenge, but then you wouldn't be here if you didn't like a challenge. So we're really looking forward to following up on that. I wish you all the very best with the whole process. And I hope that tonight is a good chance to find out a little bit more, to ask some of those questions. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to meet you in person if we haven't done that already. That's it for me. I'm going to hand back over to Anna Louise for the rest of the evening. And I'm going to say goodbye now, but I'll leave you in capable hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Headmaster. And I'd like to hand over now to Mr. Stephen Holroyd, who's our Deputy Head Curriculum, who will give much more detail about the scholarship programme expectations and delivery here at the school. Mr. Holroyd.
Anna Louise, thank you very much. Yes, as Deputy Head Curriculum, my role is to have an overview of the holistic education, holistic curriculum at Malvern. So that's the academic core, but also working with our pupils, particularly on the super curriculum, their leadership in individualising their own curriculum, but also on the co-curriculum, so the other areas of scholarship that we focus on, the sport, the music, the art, the drama, the technology, and so on. So I have an overview, and my job is to have the overview of that scholarship as well. And as the headmaster said, really scholarship at Malvern is part of a continuum. It's a baton to be handed on. It's not a once in your lifetime. It's a part of the lifetime of a school. Our scholars are pupils who inspire others. Younger pupils watch senior scholars, work with senior scholars across all fields. And one of the great experience, I think, of most schools at the moment is getting back to something like normal. And on Saturday, I was watching many of our scholars, particularly our sports scholars, watching other sports scholars play in senior teams. Tonight, we've got one of our masterclass lectures run one of our staff, but we'll be compared by some of our sixth form scholars. And there we'll expect to see our 13+ academic scholars joining in and being supported as well. So our 13+ scholarship candidates will actually work with our current scholars on the assessment. And we'll look at later on how they might be involved with those scholars in all types of scholarship assessment. And we have a very strong mentoring system where scholars coming in at 13+ are partnered up with our senior scholars to support them through the process and also help them learn the leadership skills we are looking for from them. And in fact, some of our drama scholars bumped into that on the first day of term. We had auditions for a play which were being supported by our senior drama scholars, but they were straight in with that day one after a full day of lessons on auditions. Another moment that really brought home to me this leadership of our scholarship team was when we met the chapel prefects and the heads of house last term for the first time, our lower six leadership taking over from the upper six. And just looking at their faces, unfortunately at that stage still on Zoom or Teams, I could just see how many award holders who had joined us at 13+ were in that group. Multiple award holders across academic, music, art, drama, and so on. And they'd honed and developed their leadership skills through their 4 years at Malvern across the curriculum. And so looking at these senior pupils, we could see how they were leading by example in multiple ways. Scholars, heads of house, playing in multiple teams, in multiple ensembles as well. Also in that group, for those of you looking at also the 16+ scholarships, multiple candidates and successful 16+ scholars were in those teams as well. And at 16+, we also have a series of named scholarships and some very generous DT art, photography, music scholarship, the NEPA scholarship, which actually seek to help pupils continue into higher education. So what are we looking at really? Well, a good number of our scholars achieve awards in more than one area, but then the core focus is excellence in whatever area they achieve that scholarship. What are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a desire to learn. And when, if you talk to Dr. Wells later on this evening, you'll see how that has influenced the way in which we're assessing our 13+ scholarships and key changes we've made this year. We're looking for a desire for these pupils from day one to challenge themselves and challenge others. We're looking for them to be curious. So in our 13+ academic scholarship, one of the key things we've added is a 20-minute interview, starting off with a talk of a pupil's key area of interest, which we then follow up. And we think that's a very, very important way of making scholarship judgments. If they're working in DT, we'll expect to show significant practical skills. And really importantly, we're looking for them to show that they already have the skills to learn, the metacognition that is needed for success at a great school at Malvern. And in the 13+ academic scholarship, we're including problem-solving teamwork, where they actually work with our sixth form scholars on the second day. And across every aspect of scholarship assessment, we're looking for a pursuit of excellence. Yes, we're looking for academic excellence in their papers and performance, but also we're looking for those Malvern qualities, those clear 11 Malvern qualities that have stood us in such good stead for all of our history. And these are the things we already expect to see in scholarship applicants. They are the future pupils that excite us. They're the ones that we actually can't wait to work with. We're looking for those already latent. So we're looking for the pupils with skills to learn and develop. We're not looking for pupils who need to be told what to do to regurgitate and necessarily score the highest marks. So all of our scholarships have elements in which pupils can prepare, but they cannot be taught and simply learn. So your 20-minute interview in the academic scholarship, music scholars will have pieces to prepare and they will perform with current scholars. Drama and musical theatre, improvised workshops are part of scholarship. Sport, core movement and fitness, and 16 plus working with our current teams. And the same in DT and art, problem solving and portfolio discussion. So when scholars are here, they're closely monitored, mentored, supported, and our expectations are high across all areas of the curriculum for a scholar in any field. And whilst a pupil might have a specific scholarship award, but first and foremost, they are a scholar across the whole curriculum. So I hope that gives you a flavour of what we're looking for. And I know that my colleagues looking at more specific areas will be able to give you further direction on more specific assessment models that we're using. But the overall concept applies to anything you might apply for in terms of our 13 plus or 16 plus scholarships. Thank you, Annalise.
Very much indeed, Mr. Holroyd. So now I'm just going to explain a little bit about the application process at both 13 plus and 16 plus. So across both age groups, we offer scholarships, academic scholarships, sport, design, technology, art, photography, drama, and music. As Mr. Holroyd and the headmaster said, recognising excellence and potential in the young people in the school. Each of the disciplines does have its own set of criteria. And so, for example, the submission of portfolios when it comes to art, photography, DT, and so on. And each of these application forms and the criteria that we mentioned are available on our website. So you can read through each of those areas that are of particular interest to you following today's event, and we'll send that link again to you. For pupils entering from a prep school, so those pupils who are naturally moving on at 13 plus, we would advise parents to discuss applications for scholarships with their current head or head of year or the director of music at their prep school if they want to go forward for a music award, as these members of staff in the prep school will be very experienced in helping prepare pupils for senior school scholarship assessments, and they will also be able to liaise with us directly and speak with our heads of department for any advice or information. If you are at a school that is not preparing for scholarships and perhaps already at a senior school or at a state school, so you're not getting any special preparation or advice, you're still very, very welcome to apply for scholarships and awards, or international pupils as well, we understand won't be within that system. And you'll see from the scholarship application forms that for 13 plus, it does say to have the form signed by your current head teacher. If you're not in a prep school, we understand this might be a sensitive issue, so you're very welcome to submit the application directly to the admissions department. However, we do encourage you to speak with your current school because we will be seeking references with your permission as part of the application process. The same goes for those pupils who are interested in our sixth form scholarships. We understand it might be sensitive to discuss with the head teacher that you might be thinking about moving on at sixth form, but usually they're very understanding, they're very supportive of their pupils embarking on new challenges and adventures. And so you're more than welcome to submit the application directly to us, but we would also advise you to have a chat with friendly staff at your current school if you're interested in joining the sixth form. In addition, especially for those pupils not having the advice and benefit of advice from their current school, if you wanted to speak informally to any of our heads of disciplines, so the head of art, head of photography, music, drama, for any informal advice about preparation, they're more than happy to have chats with you via Zoom, Teams, telephone, communicate via email, and equally also for our prep families too, very open with our advice and help with regards to that. Once we receive the applications within the admissions department, whether they're from the school or from parents directly, we will send you the arrangements for each of the assessments. So each assessment will be slightly different, whether it's a drama, audition and workshop, the timings for that and so on, what you need to bring, what you need to prepare, if anything. The first assessments time-wise, coming up pretty soon in November will be the 13 plus sports scholarships assessments for both boys and girls. And then very quickly after that, still in November, we have our 16 plus sixth form academic scholarships followed in early December by the sixth form drama scholarship assessments. All of the other assessments, both at 13 plus and 16 plus, will take place in the spring term. So you have plenty of time to investigate and ask questions about that. But sport at 13 plus, and then the sixth form academic and drama are the first ones to go later this term. We normally have a 2-week turnaround time for decisions to be made and consultations to be made with all the relevant staff involved. And then we will feed back to parents and inform prep schools of the decisions as well. Just so that you're aware in terms of the value of scholarships, for a single scholarship, the maximum fee remission, as we call it, is 15% of the fees. We also have an award called an exhibition, which is just not quite as high as a scholarship in terms of recognition, but it's still very much valued within the school, and that is valued at 5% of the fees per annum. We have some very talented students in school who have multiple awards, but I would say the maximum combined fee remission if you hold more than one scholarship or award is 20%. What I would also say, if families require additional financial support, Malvern College is very much dedicated to try to support as many families as we can, as our funds allow within our bursary fund. And so we would encourage families to submit an application for a bursary to the Director of Finance. Copies of the bursary application form and bursary policy are available from the admissions office, and we would advise that a scholarship and a bursary application is submitted at the same time so that we can give you feedback about both in a timely manner. The bursaries are means tested, and the scholarships are of course purely merit based on the assessment for the pupils. One of the things that I would say is we're sometimes asked about pupils who hold multiple awards and can they apply for more than one? Yes, absolutely. You're more than welcome to apply for more than one award. But as Mr. Holroyd has mentioned, there are certain expectations of award holders within school. And so we just want to be mindful as a school that our pupils are not overextending themselves over and above the very rigorous academic program, as well as the co-curricular and supercurricular program we have for all pupils here at college. So we would give advice on that, and tutors and heads of year and HOUSEMs would also be involved in making sure that pupils were properly supported and that they're thriving academically and in other areas of school life, and they're not overextended. So I hope this does give you an overview. The admissions department is always available for any questions, any advice, to put you in contact with any of our members of staff who may be of interest. And we do have a question here, which is, if my son does not get a scholarship, does this mean he won't receive a bursary? I completely understand, but no, that they're two unconnected applications. So pupils may be in receipt of both a scholarship and a bursary award, but pupils who go through the scholarship program are purely being assessed on merit and potential, and then we look at the family's needs and means test bursary. So somebody may be unsuccessful in a scholarship award, but still be awarded a place and a bursary support within that. So that's not a concern. Pupils should be going forward for the scholarship awards to be challenged and stretched, and with the excited opportunities with the scholarship, the financial side of things, it can be dealt with through another system while they focus on the academic or music or sport or whatever their passion is. I'm aware that some of you are joining some of our other sessions as well this evening, and that also some of you will be having individual chats over the coming week with the head of sport and so on. But we would really encourage you to contact the admissions office with any further questions. And also this term, we're really excited to be able to welcome visitors back to the college campus. And so if you wanted to come in and meet any heads of department, perhaps speak with Mr. Holroyd or members of staff, you've been most welcome to do so. And we also have an open day coming up on the 2nd of October, and many of the staff will be available then as well in order to be able to answer any questions that you might have. The recording of this webinar will also be put on the Malvern College Connected site where you booked through this, but we will share with you the link to that in case you want to go back over any information, and also the link to the scholarship information on the website with the individual applications for each of the subjects. But in the meantime, if you're joining any of the later subjects, we hope to see you then. And if not, we wish you a very enjoyable and restful evening. Thank you very much.